Live. Catch the Torah wave. Good day, everybody. Welcome back to our Genesis class, live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg. I'm sorry about last week. I had a little bit of a computer glitch and wasn't able to get the broadcast up, but we're up and running today, and all's looking good. And you can still catch last week's message. Rabbi Goldberg put it up there onto YouTube. I was able to catch it, so I didn't miss out. So let's just jump right in and see how Rabbi Goldberg's doing today. Shalom, shalom, Rabbi. You're live on the air. We're going to turn it over to you.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good to see you all. We moved the clock, so for me it's really late at night, but it's okay. Once, we still have one more hour in life for today. Everybody is moving the clock in those days. By us in Jerusalem, except for this week, another 2 days, we're going to have the elections again. I think it's the 5th election in the last 3 years. Something there is not working in Israel. So we have the elections. Except for that, everything is fine. The rain came, everything is good. We are really in a good shape. Today, by the way, Dan, Angelica, I spoke today with the people in the other side of Canada. What is there? I'm going, that I'm flying after I'm being with you another 3 weeks. I'm going to, not to your Vancouver side. The other one is Montreal. I spoke with the Montreal people. They know only French. It's a bit hard for them. It's their problem. They have also a few people who knows English. And after that, Sarah Miriam is here also. On the way back, we're going to meet also the German people. And we are going to do a very big event in Europe at January also. So Angela and Mike, be aware for that also, and Jacob. And we're doing also a very big event on January in South America. I need to send, people ask me and I need to send them the connections. Netzach, it's going to be in Prague, in January, it's going to be in Prague. And I'm going to be also in Germany. I don't know how much it's close to you or not. I will send you a message about this another few weeks. So it's really exciting to meet the people, not only through the Zoom, also to meet them face to face. It's always excited also to meet people face to face. And let's dive inside and learn a bit about the things from the Bible. I was I will say like that. It is really interesting to see how much people don't know about the Bible. Now, people maybe read the stories or something like that, but I think I said it more than once. If you read the Bible just by itself, as it is, you're finding that there are a few very hard stories there, okay? It starts, for example, with Cain and Abel, okay? That Cain is killing Abel, his brother. We are continuing with a lot of hard things. The flood, for example, where it says, God is saying that he's really upset with himself that he created men. It's continuing with a demand from the Hebrew nation to kill all of the people who are worshiping idols in Israel land. We can find a lot of horrible things. And I do agree, there is some England person, professor, I need to remember his name, that is very secular. And one of the things that he's saying all the time, that you can't learn from the Bible your moral behavior, because if you look on the Bible, it's really awful. And if you read the Bible as just as a story, he's right. But the thing is that there are 2 points that we need to remember all the time. Point number one is that the Bible is speaking on an era that God spoke with people. God showed himself from the outside of the world, okay, who created the world. He spoke with the world. And the second point is that, and today we don't have this environment, we don't understand it even. And the second point is that the Hebrew nation didn't get only what is written down. They got also the oral Bible. I think there is a verse that we all know it, and it's 70 times being
I got
written down. 70 times it's being written down in the Bible, and it says like that: God spoke to Moses to tell to the Hebrew people, וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, to speak with the Hebrew people. And the part or main part of what God spoke with us, he gave us the written Bible and also the oral Bible. And when someone is trying to explain the Bible in his knowledge, basically he is explaining himself. It's just the same thing. I think I said it more than once also. If I will try to convince you that God is exists in this world, and I will do this in a logic way, something that you can't do, okay? Immanuel Kant already told us that you can't prove logically that God is existed or not existed in this world. But let's say I have a logic explanation how to prove you that God is exist. So, and René Descartes did it. René Descartes in the 16th century in French, he did it. He explained logically that God is exist. What is the meaning of what he explained? That his knowledge and his brain have some sort of a pattern of thoughts that God is exist. It doesn't say that this is the proof. And it's the same thing with the Bible. You can read the Bible and you can say to yourself, I understand what I understand, that's it. Fair enough, but it's what you understand. It's not what God said to us. God said to us, and there is a way how to treat, how to deal with this scripture. And I'm mentioning that because lately I saw a few people that started to speak with us and spoke with us, and they said to us, look, we don't believe in the oral Bible. Fair enough, it's okay. We're not forcing anybody to be with us. But when someone doesn't believe in the oral Bible, he says basically, in other words, that he believes in himself. Fair enough, good. You can idol yourself, you can worship yourself, but don't ask me to be part of this. So now with all of this introduction, we can dive inside to the Bible, unless people have any questions. If not, we're going to dive inside. It's okay if you don't have any questions. It's okay also. Okay. So we are, I will say, in the middle. We spoke about the story of Isaac and his kids. I want to remind us for a moment what exactly happened there. And we're going to dive a bit more to this thing. I hope that tonight we will finish with this story and we will continue on. It's a very essential story. And it's a tragic story. And it's even a hard one. And again, you can see where everybody is struggling there to find their place in what's happening in this thing. So the story is about Isaac, Rebecca, their two sons. We're speaking about Jacob and Esau. Okay, those are the four figures in this story. All four of them have different, I will say, ambitions and different ideas what to do here. So I'm building up for a moment the structure, and then we'll go inside and we'll dive to the wordings, to the words of the Bible. That is also being said in Hebrew, by the way. Another thing, it's very hard to. I saw once a very thick book with 200 pages. That each page is in a different language, translating the first page of the Bible. 2,000 pages, okay?
Wow.
So many languages we have. But all of them are not the source. The source is in Hebrew. So I will try also to explain a few things in Hebrew here, that the translation is a bit hard. But let's, first of all, remind ourselves, because we did it before the holidays of the Hebrew nation. It was something like 6 weeks ago. So let's remind ourselves for a moment the structure of the story. We have Rebecca that got a prophet from God, that the two boys are going to be in a different, I will say, different ways. They won't be able to work together. It's called in Hebrew, uleom mileom yematz. Every nation is going to fight one with each other. If one of them is going to be built up, the other one is going to be destroyed, and vice versa. Okay, they won't be able to live together with a good connection one with each other until the end of the days. This is Rebecca. She got the prophet, and we saw that the prophet that she got was only for her. She wasn't allowed to say it. Vayomer Hashem la, God spoke with her, and he said to her that this would happen. So she knows those are two different identities, Jacob and Esau. This is one thing. On the other side, we see Isaac. Isaac have a different vision. His vision, Isaac's vision, is that he wants that both of them will work together. Esau will be managing, okay, will control this world, and Jacob will bring to Esau the moral level of this world. And together they're going to work, both of them. This is what Isaac is imagining in his mind. Now we have the two boys, Esau and Jacob. They already know one with each other that Esau sold Jacob. He's, we call this the firstborn, the
birthright.
The birthright. He sold it to him. So they know this one with each other. Okay. Isaac doesn't know that. Rebecca doesn't know that from them. She knows this from God. So they know this situation. On the other side, Esau sold him the birthhood of himself, but he didn't sold him the most, I will say, important thing. He didn't say that he wants to disconnect himself from the Hebrew tradition, from the Hebrew roots that he have. Okay, both of them have the same Hebrew roots. So this is more or less the beginning of the story, how everything is going inside to the story. Before we will start the story, we're going to read verse by verse and to explain a few things. Let's see for a moment another small reminder that we have. Okay, please read the last two verses of chapter 26. 34,
and Esau was 40 years old, and he married Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And they were a vexation of the spirit to Isaac and to Rebekah.
So first of all, we see that both Isaac and Rebekah, both of them are not blind, I will say it like that, from the behavior of Esau. Until here, everything is fine. Both of them are not blind. Both of them are very how do you say it? Vexation. Okay, very. It's hard for them. It's hard for them to see what their kid is doing. Let's jump for a moment on chapter 26 and go straight ahead to chapter 27. Okay, let's see what's happening in chapter 27. Let's move to chapter 28. Okay. Please read for a moment. What's happening in verse number? No. Sorry. We need to see the end. The split of the chapters here is very bad. I think we spoke about this. I'm not going to speak about this now. Please read verse number 46, the last verse of chapter 27.
46, and Rebekah said to Isaac, I am disgusted with my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife of the daughters of Heth, like these, from the daughters of the land, of what use is life to me?
In the middle of this, all the story of the blessings, okay, that Jacob stole the blessing from Esau and everything else. But it's related one to each other. Okay, they saw the wives of Esau, and she was very frustrated, and what Isaac is doing. Let's see for a moment what Isaac is doing. Let's continue on. Again, the split of the chapters. I don't know why he did. I know I can explain, but I don't want to go inside of this. Think about this for a moment. Why he is splitting all this story to 3 different stories. And now let's read for a moment the first 4 verses of the continuance of the story.
And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him, and he commanded him, and he said to him, You shall not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padam Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take for yourself from there a wife of the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother, and may the Almighty God bless you and make you fruitful and multiply you, and you shall become an assembly of peoples, and he may give you the blessing of Abraham to you and to your seed with you, that you may inherit the land of your sojournings, which God gave to Abraham.
We see here, okay, if we're not diving inside to the story of the blessings between Jacob and Esau, before that we see that the framework before the story of the blessings of Esau and at the end of the story of the blessings of Esau is that Isaac and Rebekah are very frustrated from the wives of Esau, and they are demanding from Jacob to go to Rebekah's family and to find there his wife. More than that, we see that Isaac is blessing. Look good what's happening here. Isaac is blessing Jacob. With what blessing? He is giving him the blessing of Abraham. Okay? So what we see here, the framework is what will be with the continuous of the generations of Isaac and Rebekah. And they are frustrated from Esau, so they are sending Jacob to Rebekah's brother. And meanwhile, with this, they're also giving him the blessings of Abraham. So what is happening inside this story with the other blessings? And this is where I explained that this is not the blessings of Abraham. It's a different blessing. He basically what Isaac wanted in the beginning. And now we're going back to the chapter, to the previous chapter, okay, not 28, 27, with all of the things of the blessing. And we will learn this and we will see. Isaac tried to split the blessings to two different blessings. One that is dealing with this world, this is Esau, and the other one is the blessing of Abraham, who is giving, I will say, the pure moral behavior and relation with God that is going to be togetherness with Esau. So Esau will build up the country, the Hebrew land, and Jacob will bring inside the relationship with God. This was the thoughts of Isaac. Now let's see what happened there in reality. In reality, something else happened. So first of all, it starts with a statement. Please read verse number 1. And we'll see 2 things, very important things that's happening here. Please.
It came to pass when Isaac was old and his eyes were too dim to see, that he called Esau his elder son, and he said to him, My son, and he said to him, Here I am.
So we have 2 points in this verse. First of all, Isaac didn't sow. Why didn't he sow? Why is it? Because God wants to trick here something with the blessings. So he prepared Isaac that he won't be able to see. And this is the way that Jacob is going to get both blessings. Okay? We need to realize what's happening here. Now, of course, when someone is very old and he have the cataracts or something like that, he won't be able to see. In those days, they had no way how to repair the cataracts or other things like that. But it's a preparation. Look, it's not me saying it, okay? Third explanation to enable Jacob to take the blessings, you see? It's written down. Rashi is saying it, okay?
Kelly, if you could mute your mic.
Sorry?
I was just asking Kelly to mute her mic.
Okay, sorry. um,
Bottom left. Awesome.
Dan, you can always control the people here, okay? That explanation to enable Jacob to take his blessings, okay? So we have, this is the beginning. Now, the second point that we see here, that Isaac, even though the verses that we read just before that was that he was very frustrated from the behavior of the wives of Esau, still he is dealing with Esau that he is elder son. He is honoring him. He believes that he is the eldest one. He is the most important one, more important than Jacob. We need to notice that those are the two things that he started. And he's saying, I'm old and I don't know exactly when I'm going to die. Therefore, I'm asking you to go. Please read verse number 3 and 4.
3. So now sharpen your implements, your sword, and take your bow, and go forth into the field and hunt game for me, and make for me tasty foods as I like, and bring them to me, and I will eat, in order that my soul will bless you before I die.
So we have here, Isaac knows exactly what are the strengths and possibilities of Esau. He knows that this guy have the ability of going to the field, have the ability of going to fight the life, for the life, to bring food. He knows his strengthened side. And he's asking him to use this side, and we can start to see what exactly he's aiming to bless him. And he's saying to him, I want to, and this is also something amazing to see with Isaac, I want to eat, and because of this eating, I will be able to bless you. My soul will bless you. I think we said more than once, and look how much the eating have, I will say, a meaning in the spiritual side. I think we said it more than once. Abraham also, the way that he convinced people that God exists, it was by eating, because the eating side is some sort of an experience that I can't live without something from outside of me. The only way that I will be able to live is by eating something from outside of me. And if this is on the level of the physical side, I can start to think also about the spiritual side because of the experience. And the same thing is happening here. Isaac is asking to eat, so his soul will be able to bless. We're starting to realize that I'm reminding this all the time. The Hebrew nation do believe that God is one, and he created the spiritual side and also the physical side. So if you want to get the spiritual side in the best way, you need also to eat in the right way, to eat with blessings and everything else, so we'll be able also to have the spiritual side. This is what Isaac is asking. Now we know that Rebecca, she got something else in her mind, and when she hears this thing, okay, what Isaac spoke with Esau, so she's coming to him and she's saying to him, please read verse number 8.
And now, my son, hearken to my voice, to what I am commanding you.
She is commanding something. She's commanding him. She's commanding him to lie. Right? How come Jacob is supposed to listen to her? Now look good what's happening here. Everybody look good, okay? Let's see what exactly she's commanding, and let's see what Jacob is answering. So please read verses number 9 and 10.
Go now to the flock and take for me from their 2 choice kids, and I will make them tasty foods for your father as he likes, and you shall bring them to your father that he may eat, in order that he bless you before his death.
So first of all, she's commanding him to lie. And the most important thing is, let's try to understand what Jacob is answering her. Please read verses 11 and 12.
And Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, behold, my brother Esau is a hairy man, whereas I am a smooth man. Perhaps my father will touch me, and I will appear to him as a deceiver, and I will bring upon myself a curse and not a blessing.
If I was Jacob, I would have answered, sorry, Mom, I don't want to lie. Right? Jacob is not answering that. Have you ever thought about this? Jacob have a different question. How can I do that? Because my father will manage to see that it's a lie. Not a problem. What his mother is going to tell him? Let's get dressed like the Halloween. Tonight is the Halloween night, right? I remember correctly. Okay. Right? Tomorrow night. Okay. What's happening in the Halloween night? Everybody is getting dressed. If I was Jacob, I need to say, no, mother, I can't do that. It's a lie. He's not saying it's a lie. He's saying to his mother, I might get a curse instead of getting the blessing. I don't know how to do this in the best way. He is continuing with his mother's commandment. There is a say in the Hebrew nation, we have halacha, I will say it like that when a prophet is saying to you to do something, except there is only one exception to this rule that I'm going to say. But if a prophet is going to say to you to do something, you must do it. Unless the prophet is saying to you to idol worship, to worship idols, okay? To worship idols. Except for that, you need to do everything that he's saying to you. If it's a unique, specific question that you need to do. Rebecca, she was a prophet. God spoke with her. We saw that 2 chapters before that, and God said to her that the oldest one is going to worship the youngest one. So she said to him, it's a commanding thing that you need to do. I am a prophet and you need to do that. And Jacob is answering her, okay, you want me to do that? So help me to do this in the right way. Because if my father is going to test me, he will find that I'm Jacob, I'm not Esau. This is what's happening here. See, Jacob is participating in this game. He's starting to realize what's happening. Jacob. Esau is outside in the field. Isaac doesn't know what's happening here, okay? And this is what she's doing here. And she's promising him. She heard from the Almighty. Okay, so please read verse number 13.
And his mother said to him, on me is your curse, my son, only hearken to my voice and go, take them for me.
So she's saying to him, don't be afraid. If there will be some sort of a curse, it will be on me. And she's also organizing him. Please read verse number 15, 16.
15, and Rebekah took the costly garments of Esau, her elder son, which were with her in the house, and she dressed Jacob, her younger son, and the hides of the kids she put on his hands and on the smoothness of his neck.
The first, I will call it like that, the first Hebrew man that we call this in Hebrew asat tachposet. He got dressed like Esau, but inside he was Jacob. There's a difference between the outside and the inside. Our sages are learning from here that also the most, I will call it far Jews along history that were getting very far from the Hebrew nation, inside, still the spark of Jacob was also inside them. Even if they behaved like Esau in the outside, in the inside, they still stayed Jewish. Okay, just like Jacob here, that in the outside he is Esau, but in the inside he's Jacob. And what exactly she's giving her in verse number 17?
17, and she gave the tasty foods and the bread that she had made into the hand of Jacob her son.
She's not giving him any wine, right? She's not giving him wine, right?
Correct.
Okay, let's continue on. Now he's coming to his father and he's saying to him, we need to read this carefully. It's a very big difference between the Hebrew and the English, and I will try to show this on the Hebrew side with the most important points here that we have. Because
18.
Jacob was very careful not to lie. Let's go. Please, verse
18.
number 18. Yes.
And he came to his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am. Who are you, my son? And Jacob's...
Just a moment. Isaac doesn't... he understands that something here is not usual. On the other side, they were twins, right? Jacob and Esau were twins. So usually twins have a similar voice. And Isaac can't see. So he understands that it's my son, but something is weird. And now what exactly Jacob is saying to him? Please read verse number 19.
And Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you have spoken to me. Please rise, sit down, and eat of my game, so that your soul will bless me.
You need to read also verse 20, and I'm going to say something very important here.
And Isaac said to his son, how is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because the Lord your God prepared it before me.
Okay, now I want to remind us all, we spoke about this, I think, three months ago. There are leading words in the Hebrew tradition that are exposing this world and the world to come. Every time that it says the word Anochi, Anochi Hashem Elohecha, okay, I'm God who took you out from Egypt. In the beginning of the next command, the 10 Commandments, the word Anochi is speaking about the world to come. It's speaking about the holy God, representing the holy God in this world. Every time that it says Hazeh, it's this world, Hazeh. Now look what's happening here. Jacob is saying to his father, Anochi, he's using the words of the Almighty. And Isaac is asking him, what is it that you have found so fast? Ma zeh, ha'olam hazeh. We saw this already with with Jacob and Esau, when Esau sold the firstborn representative. I will show this for a moment so we'll be able to remember. We're speaking about 2 chapters backwards. And Esau said to Jacob, okay, pour into me some of this red pottage.
Rabbi, can you pronounce the other word, please?
And we see here, okay, this world, because I'm very tired from Anochi, I'm very tired from God. And Jacob is asking him, okay, so sell me the birthright. And Esau is answering, Hine Anochi, God, holech lamut, is going to die. Velama zeh, I don't need it. Okay, we saw those words already here. Now we see them again, but look good what's happening. Now we see them again with Isaac, while Isaac suddenly realized or recognized that one person who is standing in front of him is containing the Anochi, the representative of God, and the word Zeh, this world. Again, let me show this to you. Suddenly, Isaac is recognizing that those two worlds are coming together in one person. First time. It's the first time for Jacob also, okay? Now I will going to show this again here. He said, Jacob is saying to his father, I am Esav, your firstborn. Anochi, okay? Anochi is representing God. And Isaac is answering him, who is it that you have found it so quickly? Mazeh, this world. He's suddenly managing to see that both of them in one person. Okay, now, but he is still not 100% sure who is standing in front of him. And then let's read 21 and 22.
21. And Isaac said to Jacob, please come closer so that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son or not. So Jacob drew near to Isaac his father, and he felt him, and he said, the voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau.
When he is saying the voice is the voice of Jacob, he is not speaking about the voice. Okay? Speaking about something else. We need to see Rashi for a moment. Okay? It's very important. Because the voice was similar one to each other, but he said to him something else. I'm showing this to you just a moment. Please read the one. The voice is the voice of Jacob,
who speaks entreatingly, please rise, but Esau spoke harshly, let my father arise.
The voice,
their demeanor.
Something much, much more with honor, with pleasantly, something that is reminding God. By the way, he's saying all the time that God is you see, Ikra, and he said, because the Lord your God prepared it before me. He's reminding God also. The voice, something in this voice is not how unusual of the wordings.
It's not as blunt. Yeah.
It's a different voice. So we have this, we have all of this, and then now we're starting to, it will be easier for us to continue like that. And then
27, and he came closer and he kissed him.
Read 25, please.
And he said, serve it to me that I may eat of the game of my son, so that my soul will bless you. And he served him, and he ate, and he brought him wine, and he drank.
Suddenly a wine coming inside. We never saw the wine till now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his father Isaac said to him, please come closer and kiss me, my son. And he came closer, and he kissed him, and he smelled the fragrance of his garments, and he blessed him, and he said, behold, the fragrance of my son is like the fragrance of a field, which the Lord has blessed.
Just a moment. We see that Isaac is using all the senses. He's eating, he's drinking, he is smelling, he is checking, with everything he's doing to bring his soul to the stage that he can give the blessing. And now let's read for a moment the blessings that he's giving him. Verses 28, 29.
And may the Lord give you of the dew of the heavens and of the fatness of the earth and an abundance of grain and wine. Nations shall serve you and kingdoms shall bow down to you. You shall be a master over your brothers, and your mother's sons shall bow down to you. Those who curse you shall be cursed, and those who bless you shall be blessed.
First of all, it's very hard to explain this, but it's in the Hebrew language, when it says that God will give you, okay? It says here in a very unique way in the Hebrew, Ve'iten lecha. It's not the word Hiten lecha is God will give you. Ve'iten lecha, it will endless. It's an endless giving. It's like a present progressive all the time is giving. This is how we say it in English. Present progressive. It's never endless. Okay, it's never ending. I'll say it like that. Never ending. And God is giving and giving. And another two important things that he's giving here is saying that you're going to be the master of your brother, and also all the blessings. Again, this is not the blessing of Abraham. The blessing of Abraham will be later on. Now it's some sort of a blessing, how to work right in this world. Behave right in this world. And we have this situation. Please read verse number 30.
30. And he too had made tasty foods, and he brought them to his father, and he said to his father, let my father arise and eat.
Sorry. Number 30, not 31. Sorry.
30. Oh, forgive me. And it came to pass when Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and it came to pass Jacob had just left his father's Isaac's presence, that his brother Esau came in from his hunt.
Try to think for a moment what is happening with Isaac now. He's a bit puzzled. It's like an earthquake, the legs are not on the right place. Suddenly, another one is coming inside. He can't see. He hears the same voice. And the other one is saying to him also, please bless me so that your soul will bless me. And what is he asking him? Who are you? Right? And he's answering back, I'm Esau. Please read verse number 33. This is a very important verse.
33. And Isaac shuddered a great shudder, and he said, who then is the one who hunted game and brought it to me? And I ate of everything while you had not yet come, and I blessed him. He too shall be blessed.
Why this is a very important thing. First of all, Isaac is really puzzled, he's shuddered, he's amazed. Suddenly he recognized that something there is not like he thought till this moment. Until this moment, he was sure that he's going to give to both of his sons togetherness, with a brotherhood, okay, to build up a relationship that both of them together will bring to the world the blessing of the world, like Abraham got. And suddenly he understands that, with Isaac, nothing is in a coincidence. And more than that, he knows with his soul that if he gave a blessing, that it came to the right place. How does he say at the end? He too shall be blessed. He's saying, look, he realized that Jacob took it, but he is saying he is supposed to be blessed. And you, Isaac, and you, Esau, that's it. You're not part of the game. You're not part of this continuous of the Hebrew nation. And this is where Esau is really annoyed. Please read verse number 34.
When Esau heard his father's words, he cried out a great and bitter cry, and he said to his father, bless me too, O my father.
He cried. Fair enough. And Isaac is answering him, look, your brother came and took your brother, he took your blessing. And now Isaac is getting a second time something really amazed. I would call this in his face. He never thought about this. He never knew about this. Please read verse number 36.
36. And he said, is it for this reason that he was named Jacob? For he has deceived me twice. He took my birthright, and behold, now he has taken my blessing. And he said, have you not reserved a blessing for me?
Isaac never knew that Jacob took it twice. Now he is starting to realize that he took it, the blessing, because he already got it from, that Esau sold Jacob the birthright and also the blessings. He sold him everything. Now Isaac is really, I would say it, feeling confidence for giving the blessing to Jacob. Starting to realize that something here is different than what he thought in the beginning. And Esau is asking also, that to get the blessings. And again, he's crying, and Esau raised his voice and wept second time. And he is giving him an interesting blessings. Let's read for a moment 39-40. We spoke about this, but we'll remind us for a moment, please.
39. And his father Isaac answered and said to him, behold, your dwelling place shall be the fat places of the earth and of the dew of the heaven from above. And you shall live by your sword, and you shall serve your brother, and it will be when you grieve that you will break his yoke off your neck.
It's something a bit, I will say, in the middle. At the end, first, we explained already once, the word sword in Hebrew, charbecha, it's also the word churbancha, that you're going to destroy yourself. And we know today that along history, there were a lot of fights and wars in the Christian world and in the Muslim world and everything else, especially in the Christian world against the Muslims, and also against the Jewish people. And the sword was very hard. And today we know that this sword that became also weapons and everything else can destroy the world. Fair enough. But the most important thing that's happening here after that is, I think, verse number 41. Please, let's read it for a moment. And you need to tell me, all of you, there are two, on one side, Esav is saying something amazing. He wants to kill his brother. On the other side, there are two limitations that he's putting on himself. Please read verse number 41.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing that his father had blessed him. And Esau said to himself, let the days of mourning for my father draw near. I will then kill my brother Jacob.
What are the two limitations that Esav is putting in front of himself? He wants to kill his brother, but he have two limitations. What are the two limitations? Everybody can speak. It's okay. And
his father's there.
Sorry?
His father is still there.
First of all, his father is still there. This is the first limitation. What else?
The blessing.
No, the blessing. No, he is very annoyed that he got the blessings instead of him. He's saying, first of all, my father is still alive. I need to wait that he will die. There's another thing that is stopping him from killing his brother. It's very clear. It's written down. Then I will kill
the days of mourning.
Again, sorry.
It would be after he has mourned the death of his father Isaac.
This is the first thing. We said it already. He's waiting to the death of Isaac. This is stopping him from killing his brother. What is the second thing that is stopping him from killing his brother? He's saying, it's my brother. When someone is saying, this is my brother, it's very hard for him to kill a brother. It's much harder. Two things that he's stopping. Now, the relationship today that we are in the other side of the history, at the end of the history, we know, let me be, because we are all sitting here as a Noahide people also, even though it's on the internet, but let's be fair enough to say that along history, the Christian theology was based on the beginning of the brotherhood of the Hebrew nation. It starts with the Old Testament and continues with the New Testament. There is some sort of a relationship of brotherhood between the theology of the Christian and the theology of the Jewish. More than that, if I will be more precise, you cannot define the Christian theology without explaining the Jewish belief. Only after explaining the Jewish belief, you can continue on to the Christian theology. The Jewish belief doesn't need this. The Hebrew nation doesn't need anything to define itself. But the brotherhood between those two went along history until when? Until that, I will say more than that. Along history, one of the things that happened is that the Christian theology was that the Jewish supposed to stay in this world, but in a very demonish way. And this will prove that God left them and came to the Christian people. Until the time that the Europe became secular, and the father, I will say, the spiritual father of both nations moved aside, and they didn't believe anymore with any God. And then the next step will be, let's do the Holocaust. I'm going to say something very hard. In one time that I was visiting in Lithuania, so my friends, they told me like that. This is their words, okay? They told me that we won the Holocaust. So I said to those people, how can you say that? Most of my family died in Germany. Most of my grandparents, brothers and sisters, they died in Germany. They told me like that. They said to me, there were 5 years that you could go everywhere in Europe and you can kill a Jew in a normal way and no one will ask you any question about this. And even though after 70 years, look what happened. You are a very strong country and you didn't we didn't manage to kill all of you. So you won this Holocaust. But when we lost the father, I'll call it like that, the spiritual side of God, of the Father, this is where we lost also the brotherhood, and it came to a situation where people from Esav tried to kill Jacob. They didn't manage. They didn't manage because in a different way than what happened between Cain and Abel, that they were fighting, but the parents didn't interfere. Please read verse number 42. Done?
42. And Rebekah was told of the words of Esau, her elder son, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and she said to him, behold, your brother Esau regrets his relationship to you and wishes to kill you.
So we have here someone that is interfering between the fight of the brothers. The mother is interfering. Now we know the story is saying something amazing. The tradition of the Hebrew nation is saying that Jacob died in Egypt, as we will see in the last chapter of Genesis, and they all took him to the cave of Abraham and Sarah and Isaac and Rebekah. And when he came to the cave in Hebron, Esau came there and said, this is my spot. And I don't want to go now to all of the story, but at the end, on this specific day that Jacob was buried in Hebron, Esau was killed by one of the grandkids of Jacob, and his head is also in Hebron. His head is also there. And the meaning of this is that there is something from Esau that is related and connected with Isaac. So, with the Jacob. So what Isaac thought that they're going to work together, it is, I will call it like that. It didn't went along all of the history, but at the end of the history, at the end of the days, we see that there is some sort of a relationship between Esau and Esau's destiny and the Christian people who are living the Christianity with the Hebrew nation. Because of the interference of the mother here, okay, that she is doing her best to separate those two kids, so they won't be able to come to a stage where they're going to kill one each other. She's managing, they're not killing one each other in those days, okay? And she's telling him, go away and go to Lebanon, to Haran, and sit down with him until your brother will come down from all of the things that happened here. And she's saying to Isaac, look, I want him to have a different wives. And the continuance of the story is that they're sending him to Haran to get married again. So what we saw here, basically, it's a very interesting, we'll call it a story. It's not an easy story. And I will say it like that. And this is maybe the sentence that is summarizing everything. Jacob is the first one to start to live in this world with all of the complex of this world. sometimes things are very complicated. Esau and Jacob, when they were young, and Esau sold his firstborn presidency to Jacob, and it was between them when they came to a stage where Jacob was supposed to take for himself things that he already got in a good way, okay, between Esau and Jacob. It was very complicated for him to do this. It wasn't in a straight way. And life in this world, a lot of times, are very complicated. Not everything is going smoothly. One of the most interesting things of the Bible is that it's not showing us only how much, I will call it, the glory of the people of the Hebrew nation. It's also showing us the fights, the complications, the hard ways how to achieve the things. On the other side, the Hebrew people always are trying to do in an active way to progress the next stage of the, I will call it, of the world. In the days of Isaac and Jacob, the next stage was who is going to get the blessings of Abraham, who is going to continue the dynasty of the Hebrew nation. Now, since Esau already gave it to him when he was 13 years old, and we saw that, okay, in the chapter before we spoke now, that Esau is asking him, I don't care about God, I don't care about the next world, give me to eat from this thing now, and you know what, take my firstborn presidency, take everything from me. And he did it for himself. Nobody asked Esau to do that. Now the next stage will be that Jacob, who was sitting only in the tents, who was a very small boy, I will call it like that, is supposed to grow up in the complexity of life and to fight with himself and do all sorts of things to take what he is earning. Now it will continue on, okay? We will see this, how Jacob is growing up with this thing, because Isaac was right. He wasn't with the ability of building up a country. It will continue on, so Jacob also will get another name. What will be his next name? Israel. This is where he will be in a stage that he will be able to do two, I will call it missions. The mission of building a state, and also the mission of putting inside a lot of purity and a lot of relationship with God, the spiritual side. But it will take time. He's not yet in this stage. But here in this chapter, he started to fight for himself. He realized, and when his mother is telling him, go and take those two lambs, bring them to me, and I'll organize for you. He's not saying to his mother, no. He's saying to his mother, help me to do this in the right way, so my father won't curse me, but will give me a blessing. And this is the most interesting side of this chapter. I spoke too much for tonight. If you have any questions, anything you want to know, anything else, before I will finish, I will want to say 2 points. First of all, we have, for those who wasn't with us, and I'm going to take out tomorrow an email about this. So we have every Tuesday, Rabbi Dov Kaplan, one of the people from us, from the Noahide World Center, is giving lessons on the Brit Shalom book. Okay, and I will send on the email all the details with whom you can connect and to listen to this thing. And another thing that we're going next Sunday, from next Sunday, we have another very important rabbi that joined us, and he's going to give very interesting lectures about the relationship between the Hebrew nation and the Hebrew land. It will be on Sunday morning, 5:30 Israel time. So it's going to be at night, Sunday night, but from next week.
That's going to be 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern.
Yes, so I'm going to take out those two, I'll call it notes on the internet, on the email, so you can join those things. I'm not sure that the England people will raise up at 4:30 in the morning for this lesson, but it will be on the internet, so you will be able to listen to this after that. But we want to, I'll call it like that, we want to also to give time for the people on the California side, Los Angeles side, Vancouver, not Vancouver, yes, Vancouver side, you know, all those places of the West Coast. So we're doing a very big effort with this also. So those are the two things I wanted to mention. Another point I want to mention again is that I'm going to be in Germany also on the way back from Canada. So, and I will send also about this, I will also send an email with all of the details, because I'm going to be in the airport there for a few hours, and we're going to meet a few people from the German area. So I will send also for these details. Now, if you have any questions, you have any notes, you have something to ask, other things that we spoke, other things, I have another 10, 15 minutes. If it's okay, you can ask before Dan is going to fall asleep.
I think Kelly has a question.
Yes.
Yeah, I have always wondered, why would Rebecca tell Jacob to lie about Isaac, and isn't that a sin to lie? Like I've always been a bit confused about that.
So this is what we explained here. Let me share this again. Rebecca got a prophet from God. Okay, the prophet I'm reminding things that we spoke previously. Okay, not today, 3 months ago.
Yes.
Rebecca got a prophet from God, and the prophet said to her that those two people that are going to be inside her, Isaac and Jacob, the youngest one is going to be the most important one, the most eldest one. Okay.
Right, Kelly. It says that the elder shall serve the younger. See? Yeah, right here, verse 23. And the Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, because she was having pains in her womb. And in verse 22, it says, and the children struggled within her, right? Okay, 23 says, and the Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 kingdoms will separate from your innards, and one kingdom will become mightier than the other kingdom, and the other elder will serve the younger. So Rebecca's running on this as prophecy from Hashem.
And the prophecy is only for her. She wasn't allowed to say this to Isaac.
She never shared it with Isaac.
She never shared it with anyone. Now, when she heard that this is what Isaac is going to do, she knew that it's not right. She didn't know yet that.
So it became part of her life's mission.
That Esau already sold, okay, his birthright.
Yeah.
You have everything. First of all, Esau sold from himself. He sold his birthright. Okay. There is a prophecy that the youngest one is going to be the most important one, and only Rebecca knows that. So God already said that it's going to happen like that, and this is the truth. But it's very complicated, because life a lot of times is very complicated.
Huh. Okay.
Just we need to read.
Okay, so the other question I think Kelly had mentioned to me was, she just did a declaration as Noahide, and did you get it?
No,
Kelly, did you get it?
I didn't send it yet.
Okay.
Last week, and I didn't send it yet. Okay. We will organize it. Yes, fair enough.
Yeah, thanks. I just wanted my husband to show my husband. He wasn't able to be with me at the time, but that's all.
There will be another time. It's okay. We will do another time soon, and but it's okay. But and I need to send it to you. I know. We didn't organize it yet. It will take time, a few days, but it will be okay.
That's right.
Certificate. Excellent.
I have a question.
Yes, Italo.
When it says when you grieve, you will break his yoke. What does it mean? That's verse 40.
Yes, it means if you look in the Bible, in the Kings side, you will see that almost all of the years that we have the temple, the Esav destiny was conquered under the Hebrew nation. But there is a time that he managed, Esav destiny, the kids of Esav managed to rebuild from the Hebrew nation, and they were for themselves. And this is what it says there, that there will be a time, especially when the Hebrew nation won't behave in the Torah way. So the Hebrew nation will move aside, and the Esav kids will be on top the Hebrew people.
Why does it say grieve? Grieve.
It says in Kings, especially in at the end of the first one and the second one, the one who started to conquer the Edomites was King David. Look in Kings, you will see this, all this relationship between those two. And it's continuing because Rome, with Constantine, took, I will say, they took on themselves to become the dynasty of Esav, okay? And the Christian were also. So along history, the Christian people conquered the Hebrew people. I will say it like that, okay? Never mind, it's very complicated to continue on. But we see today that more and more people are leaving the Christianity, asking to become under the understanding of the Noahide, the Hebrew nation, and everything else. And it's related.
Yeah.
Hey, Rabbi.
Fair enough. Yes, Jacob, you wanted to ask something? Please.
Yeah. Do you have anything to say about the parasha that was read this Shabbat Noach?
It's a very important parasha, you know. It's like God, when Noach went out from the ark, it's like God, I will say it like that, it's like God appeared in front of him in the same way that he appeared in front of the Hebrew nation. So it's more or less like the Ten Commandments. It's a covenant that God did with the whole world. Now, it's a one-way covenant because God, when God is saying, I gave this rainbow, so I won't bring again the flood. But it doesn't say that on the other side, men promised him that he won't behave in the bad way that he behaved before the flood. It's a one-way covenant. God did a covenant with men, but men didn't do a covenant with God. But it's some sort of an appearance like the Ten Commandments that did a covenant. By the way, in Hebrew, what you say is Brit Olam. Brit Olam is a covenant with the world. Brit, covenant, Olam, world. And this is why we call ourselves Brit Olam community. Okay? Because we are becoming a large community that is working together on this covenant of the world. This is why it's called the Brit Olam community. It's a very important parasha. In Israel, we're doing a lot of things, a lot of acknowledgement of the movement of the Noahide. We had a very big article in few very important papers. Okay, Rabbi Sherki also spoke with a lot of people in special places. We're doing a lot of public relation to this movement on Parashat Noach, and also on the 27th of Cheshvan. In this specific year, I'm going to be in Canada, and I'm going to do from there everything, because it's like a covenant that God, it's a covenant that God did with the world when Noach went out from the ark. We have, I think, something like 7 or 8 lessons on the Noach Parsha. So you can see it, and we need to organize everything to become a thing. Um,
Rabbi?
Yeah, I think those are still up on the International Noahide Network, the TV station. You can get the app on the Google Play Store or Apple, the International Noahide Network, and if you look under the Genesis class, the Noah sections are up there in that. There's a day and a half of straight Rabbi Goldberg's Genesis class in there, and yeah, you can watch them on demand. Anyways, yeah, that's available, and it's playing right now on the 24-hour stream. So, yeah.
Rabbi, may I have a question too?
yes.
Do you still have some time? I always wonder because when Isaac asked Esau to bring him the food to bless him, he said to him that take your bow and bring me an animal. So that means that basically Esau would take the bow and shoot the animal, right? As a hunter. So nowadays also hunters are, for example, using guns. And for Noahide, this is okay way of, I mean, kosher way of killing the animal, but not for Jews, correct? Or is there a kosher way how you could also eat this type of food, but for example, you trap it and then you do shchita?
No, you're more than right. It's not the way of the Hebrew people how to eat I will say the meat, okay? How to kill the animal, but don't forget that this is only after we got the Ten Commandments on Mount Sinai. Before
Yes,
that, Isaac also, with a lot of things, behaved as a Noahide.
Yes, and I have follow-up question because when Rebecca sent Yaakov, she told him take a goat and bring it to your father. So, and I always wondered that maybe Yaakov was actually like difference between them was that Yaakov was keeping the higher standard of kashrut, like even before giving of the Torah, whereas Esau wasn't, and there is a hint in that maybe also why he deserved the the continuation of the Hebrew nation, or not at all.
You can say that, but I think that it's. I never heard from our sages that they're speaking about this. It's more that in those days it was also allowed not to eat only from kosher shchita. Interesting what you're saying. I never thought about this. I never thought about something like that, but it's interesting. Okay. This is something that you are adding from the outside of the, but it could be right. I will ask a few rabbis about this. Interesting.
Thank you.
Okay. People, we're going to see you next week, hopefully. Okay, next week. On the same time, everything. And
well, yeah, we'll do our daylight savings, so it'll be at 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific next Sunday. So we're on for next week, Rabbi.
Yes, of course. Why not?
So that's,
And of course, you've got that other special one with the Rabbi on the earlier time, right?
Yes, exactly.
Excellent.
Exactly. See you all. Have a blessing week ahead. It's a
All right. Catch the Torah wave, everybody. There you go. You heard it. That's our Genesis class for this week. We will be back next week, as you heard from the Rabbi. So we wish you all a great week, and we will see you next week. Bye for now.